Greetings everyone, here's Lodrik again, and this is the Game War in the Pacific Admins Edition. This is my play-by-ear match against Xargun. He's the Allied Commander, and for me, it is the Empire of Japan. This is Scenario 1 on game version 26B. We arrive at the 18th February 42, and means I have roughly 6 weeks left with Amphibious Assault bonus, so more or less unloading in one day or overnight. Once it's the 1st of April, I have the same limitation like the Allies. Good. Sweeping mines in Surabaya to open the port and get my damaged destroyers in the shipyard to start the repair work. So, no engagement at night, more sweeping. And there's a bigger AP, but my submarine only used 2 torpedoes and none of them score a hit. Unlucky. There are also Allied submarines around my carrier units at Arbonne, but they stay in deep water, so I'm safe more or less. Chinese ground bombardment, and also in Sumatra now. But I must keep an eye on the enemy long-range cap. But there are not really many base locations Xargun can still use for air operations. I think Batave is maybe the last big one. And long range cap you can only run on normal range. So if the fighter don't have drop tanks, it's often very limited. So now afternoon, I make a port strike. There was no Navy searching or Navy unit in range. I throw a lot of bombs, but for some reason they all miss. Only one bomb is a hit on the AP. That is far too little for this heavy amount of bombs I normally drop here. Not sure why, simply unlucky. I mean, weather is not the best, but 5000 is of course not a low-level attack, but it's normally possible. Yeah. More ground attacks. This is more a success. So the AP escaped, but there was also a cargo ship with tanks on board. Tanks or vehicles at least. And 2 torpedo hits is for a cargo ship nearly always the end of the line. I'll also transfer a Navy Guard unit to take the base and then walk down the pass to catch the Dutch. Hopefully, if I control both bases nearby, then there's normally no retreat way for the Dutch. Good, my tank's also crossing the river, and this means a shock attack. These are both units out of Palmbang. They're already defeated, and now they're in the wrong ops mode. Now they're completely broken, but not destroyed. I also try to achieve a victory in the high mountains, but no success. Luckily for me, more or less similar casualties, and most is only disabled. So my Wenchao army, or my Japanese 13th army against the Chinese 3rd war area, and it's an easy victory because the Chinese units are already defeated many times before. I have still casualties, but again, disabled is no issue, and the Chinese are now really weak. Similar situation here is the Mongolian front. The Chinese Mongolian army is defeated, and the Japanese Mongolian army have casualties, but only disabled, so I can press on. My tank's trying to achieve here some victory over this dot base. If I control the dot base, then I could rail units or airplanes later easily between these 2 locations. But I cannot really kick out the Chinese. This is only bombardments. Also bombardments. And this is a leftover Surabaya army. And they're retreating again. Also here, not ready for fighting, they're trying to escape, but too slow. And the most eastern part of Java is also under Japanese control. Plus some bases. Yeah. So no losses on my side, more or less. But also nothing to show still for my carrier raid in the South Pacific. Tahiti was more or less empty. I mean, there's 1 AP at least, so I will stay 2-3 days more in this area and maybe find more. So maybe Xargun is not using Tahiti so much, or maybe other base nearby, I don't know, we will see. So I have still high ops losses, but these are really all ops losses. Unluckily, they are all coming together. And have a lot of wounded pilots now in this case. Maybe carrier operations. I sunk with 1 cargo ship with some elements on board. How much? I don't know. Really hard to say. I can only see that the army loss points are still in my favor, roughly speaking. 3.5 to 1, well, 35 point, yeah, 35 to 1 maybe, something like this. Air losses is still just barely 1 to 1, so, naja, could be better, could be worse. So, I try to take this, achieve a victory with the Chinese, but it's really not working well in the high mountains. I lost no squad, but all disabled. But I don't think I can achieve here easy victory. I will burn through my units, and this I don't like so much. I catch here this Chinese units retreating. I have 1 unit, so maybe I can defeat it next turn. My unit is back at the road, so I can now finally walk on the road to the west. This is only a mixed brigade support unit and it's half disabled, so it must normally return to Xi'an to rest and heal there. Everything else looks normal. Most important is that this Chinese central army is still trapped. Normally, I control all of this hexes. So this 8, 18, 19, 23, whatever units, and here's maybe more, they all cannot pass this hexes because I control them. They must defeat me to pass by. What is maybe escaping is this army. I try to achieve a victory to walk faster here, but it's not possible, so I must split my army and try to get one division in this hex before the Chinese crossing the river. I have the road, but the Chinese have maybe already crossed half the way. Naja. I have simply not enough troops in these high mountains. This Chinese units, this red Chinese army still force me to stay behind. A victory was achieved at Amoy Charmen. This Chinese army is now really defeated. Not more much left. And for me, most of my units are in a good shape. Some disabled, less disabled, nothing destroyed. Looking all fine. And my 23rd army, is on the way to catch this 4 last Chinese units left over from the Kukong army, whatever you want to call it. The other Chinese army group is nearly defeated. But if I destroy them completely, 1 or 2 months later, they will reform, so it's only a temporary victory. Burma, nothing happens. I can attack him maybe tomorrow, because now there's only 1 unit left. I was waiting that there's left, or not more so many units, that I have a chance, because these are really only Thai forces. I don't want to ask them to win the war here. They're only second-class humans for the Japanese. So, nothing more than support meat. Yeah, I took this base. The Dutch are retreating. I took this base, there's nothing inside, so no industry to capture. This hex had also nothing, so the Dutch are defeated again once more. I will try to more or less take these bases, and at the same time I prepare a new invasion fleet with more fighting forces, so that I maybe can take East Java and prepare the landing for West Java, and then bring my forces together to finish the Dutch forces, because they are mainly maybe around here in Batavia. Maybe Xargun is trying to hold Batavia more than Surabaya. And he's also the mountain. Bendoing is also a fortress normally. So these 2 hexes are often harder to take. Everything else looks normal. I don't see any allied forces here in East Australia. They must be really touching the edge, and I miss them. And I also cannot find them in Tahiti. I mean, I can see ships, 3 in port, at least 1 outside. But I only got 1 bomb hit out of my airstrike. This is unluckily. Cannot change. So, but I know there are 3, 4, at least 5 ships in this area, so I try to hunt them down. Hopefully this is in 2 turns done. But these port strikes are often luck. Sometimes you get a lot of hits, and sometimes you hit nothing, and today I hit nothing. My recon was not really successful. I sent recon planes out, but maybe the weather, and don't have indication, extreme overcast, but I don't know. And here's heavy cloud. I don't know. Anything else? The preparation for my invasion for Pago Pago is on the way. Yeah, my main body is here, and this units will now load the little task force here and there. So I need 2-3 turns to arrive in Hawaii, and in 4 or 5 turns I will attack Pago Pago. Hopefully there's nothing waiting for me. So yeah, no surprise, no negative surprise. Good, see you next time. Take care, bye bye.